Welcome to A&M Reviews. I'm Skybear, and I'm here with my buddy Sal. Sal, what's up?
Not much, just hanging out.
Alright, and today we are going to be talking about Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, and just so you know, we will be spoiling the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, so you've been warned. Spoilers.
Alright, and Valerian is about a dark force that threatens Alpha, a vast metropolis and home to species from 1,000 planets. Special operatives Valerian and Laureline must race to identify the marauding menace and safeguard not just Alpha, but the future of the universe. And it's directed by Luc Besson, and most of you guys might know him from directing The Fifth Element, which is a fucking awesome movie.
Yep.
And so, Sal, what did we think about Valerian?
Oh, it's gonna be hard to say this, but I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.55 out of 10.
Yeah, we went into it. I was hoping more.
I was so looking forward to this movie because like it just looked fucking cool to me, and Luc Besson's doing fucking sci-fi again. Like, yes,
Yeah,
I'm
when
down.
you hear about that guy coming back, and you're like, yeah, this movie should somehow at least be getting an 8. I mean, it's not. Basically, it's hard to basically describe. It just doesn't connect. All the parts are not really focused in one certain target. They're the way they need to go. I mean, everything had. It was basically just a perfect storm, where it didn't all fit together. I mean, there were some parts that were okay. Like, okay, people will know that Valerian is based on graphic novels. We're not going to touch upon the graphic novels because that's separate, but we're just going to focus on the movie. Focusing on the movie, I mean, the art and the environments, how they're setting it up, everything had the potential. And this movie has a lot of potential in it.
That was the thing that was like my major letdown. Just like there was so much room for this movie to be fucking amazing, and
Yeah.
and this is what we get.
Yeah, like we just said, it has a graphic novel back history, and it's not just one issue, it's multiple, but we're not going to say it's related to this or that. But just with that, you have sources, you have background information to work with, and this movie kind of seemed like they're like, yeah, we know there's stuff we can work with, but we're not going to use it. And with that said, I mean, once you hear like who's directing it and who's working in it and everything, you get hyped for it and saying it's like saying it's the new James Bond movie coming out. You already know what you're hoping to get, but when you go see it and it's not really what you expected, it's kind of really a big letdown. So with that said, let's get into it. Skyber, what you gave it, our grading wasn't that off. What, 0.5 is not a big deal, but you start with your review.
All right, well, I'm going to start with what I did like about it. For me, I thought it had great art direction and had great costume design. You know, it was looking like Fifth Element all over that motherfucker, but
Exactly, yep.
which, it's like for me, it's a pretty movie to look at. Like if you just turn the audio off and you just like look at it, then it's like, yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, especially like the whole costumes when they're going to the market, how they're dressed as tourists. It really had that Fifth Element kind of look going into it. Also, when they were meeting aliens who were meeting on the planet station that started growing, all those aliens reminded you of like, oh, this could actually be happening at the same time, during the Fifth Element storyline, which got me thinking like, if I see a cameo of somebody from the Fifth Element over here, I wouldn't be surprised. But no, yeah, it had potential and all that. That's one of the same points I had as pro. For me, it was costume designs and art direction. The scenes were really well done, especially when they touched upon different alien species and their environments and stuff like that. You saw it and you're like, hey, I can see them coming from a different planet, and they're touching about how their home planet was. But yeah, what are your cons?
Pretty much everything else, dude.
Yeah, my list is
Like,
pretty long. That's why I was gonna let you start it
yeah,
off.
like the acting's bad, the writing was bad, the pacing was like, I don't know, I just felt like this movie was super rushed, you know, to get
Yeah,
through the story. Even well, and like I just feel like if it had longer time to like deal with the characters, then you could have had like good, you could have had a good fucking movie.
yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
for people who are going into it not knowing the characters, I didn't see them spend much time describing their backstory. It's just like, oh, Valerian, yeah, he's a special agent.
well, yeah, and like
Moving
you
on.
had your own characters just like telling us what we should know, where it's just like,
Yeah,
where it's like, I'm a great person. It's like, oh yeah, and you're also stubborn and
yeah.
hot headed. It's like, oh, okay, so you're just telling us his character description. Okay, that's super.
And that's one
Thanks.
of the things that kind of pissed me off because I was like, he gives himself. Well, the girl actually was saying like, oh, Valerian's a really good agent. Well, you guys are agents and really good. And guess what? During your mission at the marketplace, how many of your crew came back alive except you two?
Exactly.
I'm like, so that's a successful mission,
Yeah, just like good shit,
really?
guys.
Yeah, fucking up on purpose and having all those people die. Yeah, but it's okay because you got what you were going for, kind of thing.
Mm.
But and there's another point, and I don't know if it's bad or it was done on purpose in the market scene. I didn't follow logic because okay, they're going into the market and he's going undercover. He has the box where he puts his arm in, and then the arm appears in the other dimension. Okay, my understanding about this is like you can't bring something from the other dimension without going through a little portal, which is either the big machine by the entrance or that box that he had.
Right.
He reaches with his other hand to pick up the pearl from the black market dealer,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow it ends up on our side. And I'm like, it didn't go through the proper box. Because if you remember, the box short circuited and it was inactive. So how did it come through? I didn't see him
Well, like maybe it was
put it
just
through the
like in
box.
our dimension the whole time.
But the thing is that they were watching it at the. Because here's the thing: the pearl, the race, the pearl people,
Yeah.
they were using as a currency to, like, we'll give you this in exchange for the goods.
Right. Right.
So they were at the other dimension. Because if they were at the marketplace with Valerian, you would have seen them. So that's my thing. I'm like, it didn't make sense, but I was like, am I the only one paying attention to this? Is it really happening this way?
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the things that I had an issue with. Like, how did that pearl go from their dimension to our dimension really easily and without anybody saying like, oh, look, there it is. Another thing, what was up with the they hinted at, like, when they were going into the marketplace, make sure that you put on the helmet and you look above and it registers you as human.
Right.
It turns green, but for Valerian it turned red. Was that hinted at something that he's not human or something else? I mean, it didn't touch upon it later. Didn't There was
Yeah,
no repercussion for it.
there was no real explanation as to like why that was a bad thing.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to send an alarm or something saying like, "Hey, this guy's not authorized to be here," or something.
Yeah.
But nothing happened. But it's a little thing of like, are we supposed to pay attention? Because they actually panned up and it was red, kind of like, oh, something's gonna happen, but nothing really happened. So that was just that.
Or like maybe it was like no humans allowed in this area and like but it's like, the caution tape or like you just jump over that and it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the next scene I had an issue with was when Valerian, they're back at the station,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a chase scene. The people kidnap somebody and they're chasing them down.
Right.
Valerian's talking and saying like, "Give me the shortest route," and the girl says, "I think go that way," or something. He's breaking through walls, and in my mind, it's like, okay, this guy's causing more damage. And if you're in space, if you break through one of the doors and it's outer space, there's a vacuum being created.
Mm-hmm.
So you're damaging the space station. And at the same time, you're jumping from one environment to another. I think he went from like
like didn't he like bust through like some
underwater world?
Yeah, he just went from like dry land into like some underwater place, and then like from there he went back to dry land, and then like falling through space.
Yeah, and my thing is like, okay, if these people had to have their own separate environment, it's like the equivalent of me having an aquarium on my desk and making a hole from one end and another one. The water's leaking out.
Or like maybe they just have that like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 safety protocol where it just puts up like a little shield over the damage area.
But that's the thing. I mean, it would have been nice to see that, because I'm just thinking, I'm like, by that time I'm not interested in the chasing. I'm thinking like that guy's living room, just a guy came rushing through the living room from one end to the other. We're like, oh, who's gonna take care of that? You know, I mean, that's just a little extra thing that bothered me. And it seemed like he was causing more damage, and they didn't care, because I guess he's Special Agent Valerian, and he has money to, pay for this stuff. But that's one of the things that gave me a hard time to.
I just feel like he should have just been wearing that suit the whole time, and like that just would have solved a lot of problems.
Exactly, it's like mini Iron Man, enhances your speed, your strength, and why did you take it off?
Exactly. I mean, like, I get it. It might get hot in that thing, but, I mean, dude, you were literally busting through walls and, like, just going immediately underwater and shit.
Yeah. The last thing I had an issue with was the ending scene. They were left in a capsule, which is basically one of our capsules that we use for exploring, presently, in our history. I think it was 1960s space capsule. And in the movie, they classified it as junk debris.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be, people are collecting this stuff in space and taking it to salvage yard, which is basically the equivalent of recycling. Okay, mysteriously, they're left in it with, I guess, oxygen. The tanks are full with oxygen, and the panels are turning on with power. For a capsule that's really, more easily than 400 years old, that's an amazing craftsmanship for this capsule. And whoever said it was junk, I guess they couldn't figure out that it's still being powered and two people can be in there breathing air. I mean, like, it would have been nice to basically see the pro people say, oh, we put air in there and this is where we're going to leave you, but they didn't touch upon that. And if people say, oh, no, they did, I'm like, okay, if they were generous to put air and power it with, energy batteries, basically, why not give them a little extra fuel? They're just out there, signal going off saying we're here. But it's okay because they have oxygen and enough power to run the...
Because you need to rip off Moonraker, dude.
But the thing is, like, I was like, okay, like, these people, I'm like, they're trying to pull a fast one on us, and I'm like thinking logically, and I'm like, okay, they're breathing. Oh, they have oxygen. Okay, pro people probably gave it to them. Oh, look, the dials are turning on with power. They have batteries. I'm like, wait, these pro people are assholes because they didn't give them fuel. And I'm just sitting there going like, okay, I mean, and these people are Valerian's like, it's okay because they're come pick us up. Well, I mean, and then the other thing is like, I guess it's Valerian's character. He looked pretty high all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, Dane DeHaan, like, looks like that a lot.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's the actor. He looks like that, but at the same time, it's like, so you couldn't pick somebody else that looked not high?
Or just, like, not pick Dane DeHaan at all, because, I mean...
Exactly.
There could have been...
I was trying to go around that without actually saying that, but it's... Well, you already said it, so yeah,
I mean,
pick
like,
somebody else, not him.
He's fine in certain things, but, I mean... I don't know. I didn't really dig it as, like, the main action hero guy.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't sell the secret agent spy as, other characters would probably... other actors would have sold it.
Yeah.
He was kind of a... I want to say like a Disney star, like Spy Kids or something from that kind of series, It's like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, you're the little kid who has gadgets. But no, he's the top agent Valerian. And that's the other thing is like the movie tries too hard to sell Valerian as a top agent.
Yeah.
After he's done so many mistakes.
Well, I mean, it's like with Bond too. Bond fucks up all the time, and he's just like, whatever, I'm fucking cool. But I mean, like here, it didn't really work well.
No.
Yeah, and then like same with Cara Delevingne. Like I did not like her performance in this, and like feel like she had a better performance in Suicide Squad. And like if I'm saying that, then it's like, oh fuck.
The whole thing, I mean, like they were paired together to basically have the "I love you, you can't have me" kind of storyline. Like, yeah, you want to marry me, but I don't want to marry you because you're not reliable and stuff like that.
Man, dude, I just did not feel the chemistry between these two.
No, it was like it was forced upon.
Yeah,
it was like
super forced upon.
I was cringing in theaters. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't seem natural. I mean, even though they're actors, they should somehow have enough skills to play it off. Yeah. But
and like speaking of that, like I don't know how to me every single character just was like one dimensional, but it happened.
Yes,
and it's like, dude, what the fuck?
It was like having everybody act like a stormtrooper.
Yeah, like, pretty much.
Yeah. Your role is to be a soldier.
Just like, you're a bad guy. You're other bad guy.
You're I don't know what I am, but I'm a comic relief character.
Exactly.
So you stay there.
Yeah.
And you're the bad guy, but we don't know yet, so you just stay there and act like you're gonna be bad.
Exactly. Like that was my other problem with this movie. Just there wasn't any character depth at all.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's the directors, the casting, or the script?
Well, I mean, the director also wrote this thing, or at least co-wrote it.
There's the other thing too, the script. I have issues on that.
Oh God. Like, why did they reveal the bad guy in the first fucking act, dude?
No, the other thing is like, okay, you're writing this shit. It's like, if I started off and I'm like, oh, Skyber, I wrote a paragraph, you write another one.
Yeah.
And we just go back and forth. It's like, without reading our shit, it doesn't play right.
Yeah.
It doesn't flow.
And like, the whole time I felt like I was just waiting for an hour for the two main characters to just catch up with what we already knew. Just like, okay,
yeah,
you finally found the bad guy. Fuck, I've known this whole goddamn time, guys.
There's just talk about Rihanna's character. Last time I saw her was in Battleship.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like she's been just taking any roles that they throw at her. I mean, good for her that she's getting out there in movies.
Yeah, it's like, when did Rihanna become an actress? Like,
that's the thing.
Just like, you're pulling a Justin Timberlake here. Just like, you're an actor now? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, her character was I like any other alien in the movie. I wanted to hear more about their planet, their origin, stuff like that. Which I guess I'm that kind of guy who wants to look into the backstories of everybody.
Right.
But her was like, she actually sold her character like by saying like, oh, my character, where I come from is suffering. I don't have anybody and stuff like that.
Right.
I was like, oh, I feel so bad for your character, which I want to know more about.
Mm-hmm.
And then later she's like, oh, now you're dead? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, I also thought, like, Rihanna was one of the more redeeming parts of this movie, which, is weird for me to say, because, like, come on, if Rihanna's the most redeeming part, you kind of fucked up a little bit.
That's the thing. Like, if she sold her character, why couldn't all the other actors sell their character performances?
Although, I feel bad about saying that Rihanna was the best part, or, like, one of the better parts, too, because, I mean, her character is literally just a sexual object. Like, that's her entire purpose, dude. And it's like, fuck, like, we don't have anything better than this.
That's true, but at the same time, I saw her as the innocent alien who's doing a burlesque, even though they did hint at that she would do anything sexual. I was like, oh, she's just one of those characters, like, oh, she got enslaved and then, like, she's doing this, but she doesn't know better because where she comes from, she would have been dead already, and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I felt for that. And I'm like, but then after we're like, oh, guess what? She's dead. Oh. Yeah. But I could have seen that character actually lived and joined them in other missions if,
Yeah, I mean, like, she would have been super cool to hang around, and then, dude, her death scene sucked.
That's the equivalent of like falling where you fucking injure yourself, like the scenes from Mission Impossible, and all you get is like fucking bruise on the cheek or something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh, you trip over a bench, and guess what? Oh, you got speared with something in your gut, and you're dead.
Yeah.
So it's like going from an alien who could morph and get stabbed in the last scene over multiple times and not get injured. She's falling through the chute and she falls on garbage. And guess what? There's a thing that was really sharp and stabbed her. Oh, now guess what? She's dead.
Yeah, and like it felt so just like forced. That felt forced upon too. Just like, it's like, where are you? I'm here. I must have got injured, and it's just like, oh, you're dying now? Oh, okay. Well, that sucks.
But you got to give it up that like her death.
Yeah.
Like she turned into dust, and I was like, wow.
Okay,
That's kind of like poetic.
the dust part was cool. I did enjoy that, but like I don't know, Rihanna's acting with her death scene just I was not feeling it.
It's like I'm dying. So it's like yeah, I mean it could have been done better, but the redeeming part was the actual special effects of how she morphed into sand and just
Right.
or was it sand or was it dust? I think it was dust.
Yeah. Oh, and like jumping back to like when we first meet Rihanna's character, dude.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke is in this movie. Like I was I was not expecting that when I was watching it. I was like, oh shit, there's Ethan Hawke, and I was like, you're a space pimp now? Oh, okay. Sure. Fuck it. Why not?
And then like there's a scene, red light district, as Valerian's walking through. Did you see Jessica Rabbit?
I did see Jessica Rabbit. I was like, oh, well then. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of like a little interesting Easter egg, I guess. What does this mean?
I'm happy we're getting like throwbacks to cool movies, like like with the trailer for what is it? Ender's Game, Iron Giants, just fucking stand tall.
Yes.
It's like, yes, thank you. Do more of this.
Yeah. I don't think it was meant upon, but the 3 duck-looking aliens with the wings, it seemed to me like they were closely related to Howard the Duck. Or is that just me? Because I mean, like, they're ducks in space, and I'm just thinking like, oh, Howard the Duck.
I mean, like, might as well, as long as we can get Howard the Duck out of the MCU, dude. No, I just vote no. We don't need that.
No, but I think it was just me like, oh, that's the only thing my mind can comprehend. It's like, oh, it looks like a duck. It's a talking duck. Howard the Duck. But yeah, the Jessica Rabbit in the red light district. I mean, I think it's just saying like, oh, Jessica Rabbit's a sex symbol and red light district sells sex, so let's put her there. But other than that, I didn't see anything why she should have been there or anything like that.
Yeah.
Unless it has to do something with the comics, but let's not go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this movie, like I said, it had so much potential.
Yeah, like it could have been like fucking cool as hell. Like if you just spent more time developing the characters and spending time with them.
And then just decide if you want a serious sci-fi movie or a silly sci-fi movie for kids. Like, come on, really? Like,
yeah, and then
it's like that's how I feel. I mean, it was written bad. But yeah, I mean, this movie, like you said, it had a lot of stuff that it could improved on, and it could have been a really, really badass movie.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's also due in part to like having a little bit of like John Carter syndrome, where we have this source material, and if you really like get into it, it's basically you see that everybody else thieves off of it, right?
Yeah.
Which did happen with John Carter. Like, if you like, it's basically the story with every single major sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And then we actually get the movie, and it just feels like a ripoff of other stuff that's been made.
No, yeah.
And I feel like Valerian kind of had the same thing happen to it, but that's not the main reason why it sucked. The main reason why it sucked was just everything else.
Yes. And the acting could have improved 10 times better.
And it also just makes you sad because like you can watch Fifth Element, and it's like, yes, that's how you do it.
Yes, and it still holds up, and it's like
dude,
really, really
you've
good.
done this before. Like you just had to do like the same thing, but with Valerian, and you were good to go, dude. But, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, 5 out of 10. At least it got something. Oh.
And now we're going to take a little tribute to Sam Shepard, who passed away recently. And if you don't know who Sam Shepard is, he was a really famous writer and a really famous actor as well. And he passed away recently due to complications with ALS. And some little tidbits from his life. He was brought up on a succession of military bases before his family settled on a farm near Duarte, California. And then they worked in a ranch in Chino between 1958 and 1960. And he graduated high school in 1961 and spent a year studying agriculture at Mount San Antonio Junior College, intending to become a vet. In 1979, he won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama for the play Buried Child, and was nominated for the 1983 Pulitzer Prize for Drama for the play True West, and the 94 Pulitzer Prize for the drama for the play Fool for Love. And by the time he was 30, he had already written 30 produced plays in New York. And this dude was in too many fucking good movies. We're gonna breeze through like some of the highlights. Days of Heaven, The Right Stuff, which he got an Oscar nomination for. Fool for Love, Steel Magnolias, Thunderheart, The Pelican Brief, Swordfish, Black Hawk Down, The Notebook, Banditas, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, Safe House, Killing Them Softly, Mud, and he was recently in Midnight Special and Bloodline, the show on Netflix. And
wow,
yeah, like dude is fucking cool, man.
Wow, amazing! All those movies. Such great movies, and all those Pulitzer Prizes. I mean, it seems like he was knocking them every other year.
Yeah, like
79, 83, 84.
Like dude could fucking write, wow. Dude could fucking act.
Dude could do anything.
Oh, and he was actually like in a few bands too, and like he was playing guitar and shit.
And what the fuck do? We just fucking talking to mics. Dude, this guy, wow.
Yeah, and
wow.
Yeah, sadly, just passed away, but man, not forgotten. Totally fucking cool.
No, yeah. I mean, the good thing is that we can go and watch these movies and just relive time when they were here. I mean, yeah, he's still him in a sense, but wow. I actually, when you told me about it, I didn't know that he died, and. I mean, ALS is we all remember that from the Ice Bucket Challenge and stuff like that. But actually finding out that somebody actually died from that we know, because a lot of people, you say, people die from this, but you really don't have connections with them. And this is an actor. We don't have direct connections with actors, but at the same time, you know their movies.
Yeah, and so, we're fans, and we want to see them do awesome.
Exactly. But wow, man, this guy did.
He did some good shit, Sal.
All these movies will live on, so we can go back and watch them.
I want to rewatch Days of Heaven.
All these movies. I could name. My dad loves Black Hawk Down. My sister's The Notebook. And then Steel Magnolias and all these kind of movies. Safe House, another action movie. Mud, which is a really good movie. And then the Netflix show Bloodline. Yeah. Wow. So I guess with that said,
For a minute of tribute, Sam Shepard.
Well, that's it. We're back to square one. Hey, wait a minute.
Really make another note here, would you? Must be something wrong with this old Mach meter. You jumped plumb off the scale. Gone kind of screwy on me.
That's your problem over there.
What?
That dust. This could be several of your friends at a full gallop. You're empty, son.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. You should have heard what they called me back in Wyoming.
The long-anticipated meeting of the Deed's senior cabinet may take place today at 1500 hours. I say may because we all know by now, with the intel we get on the street, nothing is certain. This is actual intel confirmed by 3 sources. 2 Tier 1 personalities may be present. Omar Salad.
And that was our minute of tribute to Sam Shepard. You will be missed, dude. And on that note, catch us next time when we talk about The Dark Tower, Super Stoked, Stephen King, Idris Elba, I love you, dude. Social media is in the description, and click and subscribe, and hit us up if you have any questions.
And remember, keep watching movies.